Hey everybody, welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Jake, and with me as always, the Stream King, the Far Cry guy, the man who may cry devil, and the crasher of castles, Steven. Hey buddy, how's it going?
Do we have to add that one?
The crasher of castles?
Yeah, do we have to?
It's just a temporary.
I almost called.
You know what I mean? Like, do I keep every name?
Yeah, that's what you said about. Yeah, you do.
I don't think so.
Most of them. Well, we almost called the stream we did on Valentine's Day. We almost called it Couple Crashers, but then I realized that it made it sound like we break up people for a living. So we didn't call it that.
I mean, that sounds like what a two-player game you'd play on Valentine's Day would be called. So I think it was very appropriate. But that's not what we're here to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. This is Chortle Cast, where we talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We got a great show for you this week. We're going to be talking about a little bit of that Outriders game that got announced. We're going to talk about
a little bit those them Outriders.
Okay, let's all calm down here, all right? I'm doing my best. We're going to talk about how E3 is slowly dying, and we're going to hear about
quickly
Anthem
dying.
And Division. But first, I want to talk about something that I never want to have happen to me, Steven. Just so you know, this is to future-proof my death. I don't want anyone to recreate me in VR, all right? So that you can see me again, all right, after I'm dead, all right? Steven, you make a note of that?
Okay, hold on. Just quick note that I have to make for some of our viewers. Stop the project. Kill it. Kill the project. Okay. You were saying?
This is, of course, in reference to... You had me go. I was so confused what you were talking about, and it just clicked. Like you were already working on it. I got it. So this is in reference to.
Jake got the joke.
I got it way delayed. I was really, for a second, I thought your program had broken. I was very confused. Anyway, here I am. So this somebody, I assume in China, I'm pretty sure it's China. It's a mother who is grieving her daughter who died. They had someone recreated her daughter in VR. She died in 2016 of an incurable disease at the age of 7. And so someone created her in VR for the mother to like have kind of a moment again with her daughter, which like on the surface level, that's really sweet. Right. And I can't imagine the kind of pain that mother is going through and, whatever. Don't nobody do this to me. OK, this is not the future I want. All right. That is a Black Mirror episode waiting to happen. In fact, I would be shocked. I tell you, shocked if there's not a Black Mirror episode that comes out a year or two from now. That is this exact scenario gone wrong. All right. So. Nobody create a VR version of me, all right? I don't want it. Okay? Steven, you got that? Stop the project.
Okay, Jake.
Okay,
Jake, stop the project.
That's right. Just keep it going. Keep going, whatever. All right. Anyway, back to normal news. I don't know. I thought that story was crazy when I heard that. So I had flagged it. I had forgot to mention it to you, Steven, but it's just crazy stuff. Let's talk about some other things that are crazy. Let's talk about Jeff Keighley in E3 first, Steven.
He's crazy.
He's crazy, man.
He's eating too many Doritos. The cheese dust has gotten to his head.
That dang cheese dust. He's been eating those little critters that are in Death Stranded, and now he's just, he's lost it. Jeff Keighley, of course, he hosts the Game Awards. Been in the game industry for a long time.
Personal friend of Hideo Kojima.
Let us not forget his greatest title. But anyway, he's also hosted this thing called the E3 Coliseum at E3 for the past several years. He's, of course, been attending E3 for 25 years. trying to find out. I'm trying to see where. I don't know how long the E3 Coliseum has been going on. I think it's like 2 or 3 years, something in that ballpark. But anyway, he announced on Twitter this week that he will not be attending this year's E3. He said he's made the difficult decision to decline producing the E3 Coliseum for the first time and for the first time in 23 years, he will not be participating in E3. He hasn't really come out and just outright said why, but a lot of people speculate. Several things. Number one, E3 just obviously has had kind of a rough go the last couple years with people like Sony skipping out, but I know a lot of industry folks were a little frustrated when they opened the event back to the public because that made things difficult for them. But then also E3 last year, they doxed a lot of industry folks. And what I mean by that is basically a lot of their personal information like phone numbers, emails, addresses in some cases were leaked. And this was a huge deal that kind of happened after E3. So a lot of people are thinking that was kind of a factor. But anyway, basically he just said he didn't feel comfortable supporting it and that he looks forward to supporting developers and other industry folks at other events. I think someone specifically asked about, I think Gamescom, and he said he was going to be at that. So anyway, Steven, what's your take on this? Is E3 on its last leg?
I mean, it's not on its last leg, but I think that this year is kind of... Last year, I feel like they were, with losing Sony, they were probably just like, okay, but we still have everyone else. Like, there's nothing wrong.
Right.
They'll come back. And then Sony didn't come back.
Mm-hmm.
Now Jeff Keighley's not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff Keighley's the kind of person who, regardless of how you feel about him,
mm-hmm.
he will never hesitate to remind you that he is very connected
mm-hmm.
and very influential.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get a person like him who is very much associated with video games and video game journalism,
mm-hmm.
get someone like him who is basically protesting E3,
right?
Because that's what he's doing,
right?
It is a protest of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it was, I've decided to not produce at E3 this year, he'd still go.
Right.
The fact that he's not attending means that I do not support this event. I will not be there. That seems like it's going to be trouble for them.
Right.
It's not going to be trouble this year, I don't think, because the ball is already rolling so much.
Right.
To where you got your bigger developers that are going to be there anyway.
Right.
But I think E3 is either going to make some changes next year, or next year we're going to see that they didn't realize that they were in a bind until too late, and then the following year they'll either dissolve or make some significant adjustments.
Right. And, in the history of E3, they have, like, there was a period of time where E3 ended, but then eventually came back. I don't know that we're in that. I don't know how far or how close we are to a situation like that where E3 actually stops. But I do think, there's an interesting conversation going around of, do we even need E3 anymore in this capacity where it's a 1 week long conference where people come down and do things, because it's so easy now to just do a live stream and do a huge announcement, production piece. And, Nintendo Directs, PlayStation State of Plays, there's so many different things that you can do that are where you can control the whole conversation. I personally would hate to see E3 go, because just for me, it's like, I watch people get excited about
It's like a holiday for us.
Yeah, it is. Really, I mark it on my calendar, and on my work schedule, I say that I'm going to be off that week. Now, normally I don't take off that whole week or anything, but like, there's this whole atmosphere of like, I don't watch esports, but like the Splatoon World Tournament or whatever happens that during E3, like I'll come home and watch that while, you know, other gameplay things are happening. Like
for gamers, it's just that I imagine it's kind of like what it feels like to be a fan of sports and to move towards like the Super Bowl or like the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's this time where sports enthusiasts of all kinds come together and you just feel like what you're seeing is really important to your community and it's going to be talked about.
Right.
And that's kind of how it feels to be a gamer with E3 because you feel like all eyes are in the same place.
Right.
And you feel like stuff is happening that your community is going to be talking about a lot. And it's exciting because you feel like you're experiencing not history, but, you know.
I mean, it's like
You're getting to see like big things happen.
right, exactly. And see, like we have Gamescom and we have like PAX and some other stuff. There's not the same energy. Like there's not like I'm just like IGN. They have a live stream that like it's going nonstop once E3 starts.
GameSpot does that too. There's the IGN stage and there's the GameSpot stage, and they are on all week.
Yeah, and once Nintendo pops theirs, they've got their Treehouse Live going, and that's normally what I watch because it's usually stuff that I'm really really excited about. Whereas everybody else is usually cycling through, you know, there's one thing I really care about or whatever. But like I always have one of those going on, and that I don't feel like that happens with Gamescom and other conferences. So
It doesn't. I don't hear about, like, I don't even know when Gamescom or PAX is. Like, I know, like, when something happens at those,
right,
I hear about it because of gaming journalism, but, like, I'm not eagerly anticipating it. It's always reactive to where it's like, oh, Gamescom is happening right now.
Right.
Let me look up and see what else has happened. But when E3 is happening, you know about it.
Exactly. Just crazy. Well, speaking about things that we didn't really know how big of a deal they were going to be, let's talk about Outriders. What's up with that, Steven? So I vaguely remember, speaking of E3, at E3, Square Enix showing this trailer for Outriders, and I remember just kind of being like, okay, like, sure, whatever.
Yeah, I remember seeing it being like, I have no idea who this developer is because it was People Can Fly is the name of the developer.
Right, which is
I had no idea who they were.
Development team name, by the way. So
it is. I saw it and I was like, I don't know what they're going for, but I want to find out.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because it looked interesting. And lo and behold, Game Informer this month is like, hey, next month's cover game is Outriders. And I had forgotten about the Square Enix trailer. I honestly had forgot about it before their E3 stream was even over because Avengers took over.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they were like, yeah, Outriders. And it was just like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. We finally get to see what this is all about. And then whatever day it was, Thursday afternoon, I think, Thursday morning, something like that, I see an IGN YouTube video that's live and it says Outriders gameplay reveal live in 2 minutes. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch it. Sure. And I'll be honest. It sounds awesome. It sounds so cool because it's basically take the concept of Anthem where you've got a world where it's super dangerous and there's these ever-changing powers
there's
and humanity's on its last
happening.
leg and there's and humanity looks to these select few, in this case called Altered, I believe, to basically be their salvation. It is very Anthem. But the difference is while Anthem is you are basically a pilot in a mech suit, in Outriders you are a mercenary that has been given superpowers. There are 4 classes. We know about 3 of them.
Okay.
There is I'm going to forget the names.
I know.
There is one. What do you know?
I know the Trickster, I think is what
Okay, that's the one I forgot.
they're called.
Yes.
They get the ability to kind of manipulate time, I think, right?
Yes. They can alter time and space a little bit to where they can use their abilities to teleport behind the enemies, then do a spectral blade to cut through them, and then warp back. So they're basically big flanker type class that moves really quickly and does really good backstab and stuff like that. They seem kind of cool. Then there's the Pyro. I want to say Pyromancer, but I don't know if it was called.
It's basically a warlock from Destiny. Is kind of what I picked up on.
It's actually so. Here's the funny thing. All of these are kind of like the warlock in Destiny in the sense of them using space magic.
Right.
The Pyromancer just uses a lot of fire and does a lot of damage. Because then you have the Devastator, which is basically an earthbender.
Right.
And there's a fourth one that we don't know about, but I kind of get the feeling it's going to be an ice character. Because I feel like I saw in the trailer characters using ice stuff. But it sounds really interesting. It sounds like it could be another contender in the ring for the looter shooter MMO Lite. And they showed some.
You create
some
your own
features.
character, and they call it a looter shooter, but they were very, very explicit, at least in some of the reviews and stuff that I watched, that it is not like there are no loot boxes. There is nothing, no kind of system like that. We don't want that.
But there is gear rarity,
right?
And like gear scores and stuff like that. Something that I heard, one of the first things they said, because they spent a lot of time talking before they showed gameplay. One of the first things they said was you are creating your own Outrider, but also your friends, when they play with you, their Outrider is in the cutscenes with you. And that is one of those things that's just like, finally, someone does it.
You messaged us and was like, someone finally freaking gets it. Like, why can we not have our cutscenes?
Brody understands because like whenever he and I have played games, it's always been like, why can't our characters just share the same cutscene? It is not hard because we all work so hard to make our character look good. And like Destiny has only done it like twice. Once was in Destiny 1, and it was when you do the Prison of Elders. When you drop in, it does a like a circle camera thing, and it shows every player that's in. It was really cool. Then Destiny 2 does it when you arrive for the raid, I think. But like games need to do that more. I feel like it's not that hard. I feel like I say that a lot, but I'm not a game developer. So.
Look, all I know, we'll get here in a second, but all I know is after playing Dreams and trying to make something, I don't know that it isn't that hard. It's like it might be harder than you think.
So they showed gameplay, and here's the potential problem. The game sounds great, and the guys talking about it, I like the way they talk about it. But the gameplay, which this game is coming out holiday of this year, and it's going to be a launch title for
It is one of the few launch titles that we know of for PS5 and Xbox Series X.
So the gameplay doesn't look polished. In fact, it looks dated. Because it's got the Anthem style, which saying Anthem may be advertising it as more polished than it is, and that's like some people are going to hear that and be like, ooh.
Yeah.
But it looks more like Mass Effect Andromeda. Remember that game? But it looks more like that, where you got your L1 ability, your R1 ability, and then your L1 R1 ability. You've got guns. There's a lot of shooting, and it looks fine. But something I noticed, the Devastator, for example, has a move where they like hit the ground and then rocks start shooting up in like a wave. And then I noticed the Pyromancer gameplay. The Pyromancer has the exact same animation, except the rocks are on fire.
Wow.
And I noticed that and it was just like, I really hope they change that. And it's early alpha footage what they showed. So it's very likely that will change. But it's got my attention.
Right.
I want it to succeed, but as of right now, I worry about it.
Right.
And Anthem, not to say that, I mean, I liked Anthem. I still like Anthem, but it did help drive home that sense of too good to be true is kind of a thing.
Well, I also worry a little bit with it being, because it's launching on PS4 and Xbox One. But then it's
doing
also going to be
current gen and next gen.
Exactly. It's going to be all the current gens and the next gen. And it's like, what does that look like? You know what I mean? Are there going to be 2 versions of the game? How does this work? So,
and I don't know if they talked a lot about if this is meant to be more of a games as service title where Division or Destiny or Anthem, where you play through the campaign, it's really short, but then there's a loot grind afterward. The way they talked, it almost seemed like it wasn't supposed to be that, to where it's going to be more of a like co-op experience that you can replay.
Yeah, they did mention that there is an end game, but yeah, I don't remember them talking much about if it's going to be grindy, but I don't know. We'll see.
I'm interested, but
yeah, I can't wait to see more, and especially more polished stuff that they've worked on. I also just worry with it being a Square Enix title, and I love Square Enix, and some of my favorite things I've ever played are Square Enix titles, but I worry because some things take a little longer with them, and some have varying degrees of success, but hopefully it will be good. Speaking of varying degrees of success,
this week.
Anthem.
Yeah, that's a good segue.
Anthem.
Yeah, this has been a really big week for the MMO light genre because you had Outriders doing their thing, which it actually happened last in this order, so we're technically going backwards. But earlier in the week, Anthem announces right after Division has their news, but we'll talk about that in a second. Anthem announces through a blog post that they confirmed that they are working on a long-term overhaul of the game.
Right. Basically they kind of came out and said, like, don't expect a lot of seasonal updates this year because they're working on kind of a long-term overhaul. I think they mentioned that they're going to redo some events. So the Cataclysm that we did, probably going to be an almost verbatim what happened this year. We'll kind of just get to play that again. But they say they are committed to overhauling the game, which it's one of those things that now people who love Anthem, and I think we can kind of halfway sit in that category of I want to love Anthem, but I'm sure people who are like still playing the game and want to love it more. This is exciting, right? Because they're gonna make the game work. But there's also a part of me that's just like, I don't know. I almost wonder if they shouldn't go and try to figure out an Anthem 2. What does an Anthem 2 look like? Because we're about to jump consoles, and so far we think the next consoles are going to be backwards compatible. So I could probably be able to play Anthem, but this larger update, Anthem Next, whatever you want to call it, to me, I don't see that happening realistically until after the new consoles are here. Like, am I really? I don't know. I'm glad they're committed to the game, but at the same time, I'd almost say cut your losses and come out with 2 and really remake it and give it the time that it needs. But I don't know. What's your take on all that, Steven? What are you excited they're doing that? Or are you not?
I'm excited they're doing it, and honestly, I think that if they did an Anthem 2, people would laugh at their faces.
I think yeah. I mean, I get that. And I so far it seems like we don't know. We assume this will be a free update whenever they overhaul the game. And I think that would, garner a lot of goodwill. Well, but I don't know. It's one of those things
we'll talk about.
I just don't know how it's going to look, and a lot of that's not even EA's fault. That's Sony and Xbox not talking about all this yet. I just don't know what that looks like if I would realistically open up Anthem again on my PS5. But anyway, what were you going to say?
Right. Well, regarding I don't know if this is going to be a free update or not. And this will transition nicely into the next game of discussion. If it's a total overhaul, it has to an extent, be a free update. Because moving on to Division, I talked about Gear 2.0 last week or the week before that, whenever. And I mentioned how we don't know when it's coming. It's just coming at some point after episode 3, which came out earlier this week. Or, well, I guess last week. And then they announced Warlords of New York. Before I talk about Warlords of New York, Gear 2.0 and adjustments they're making to the core gameplay, that's free to everyone. And that's why when you have a total conversion, which this kind of is, it has to an extent, be a free update. Because if you're changing the core gameplay of a looter shooter, it's like with
everyone.
It affects everyone, especially if there's a PvP component.
Right.
So Division had to do that. Sorry, I had to take a drink of water. I'm starting to lose my voice. I can feel it coming. So I'll try not to dwell on Division 2.
Coming in the back
That
sounds weird. Sorry.
That does. That don't.
So have we fully transitioned to Division now? Are we in Division mode? Okay,
We have.
great.
We are in Division mode. I just took a cough drop and it did not help me at all. So let's see where I end up in the next 30 minutes or so. So Division 2 announced Warlords of New York through a reveal stream that lasted about 30 minutes, and then they did a developer Q&A, like a after show that lasted 2.5 hours, and I watched the whole thing and I loved it. It was amazing. So basically, episode 3 came out the next day. Like, it came out the day after they announced Warlords. And episode 3 is the prologue to Warlords. You go back to New York, you find out that Aaron Keener is there and he's gearing up for something big. Warlords of New York is taking us back to New York. We're going to be in Lower Manhattan, and it's created on a 1-to-1 scale like DC is, so actual size. And we are hunting Aaron Keener, which is something that we've been waiting to do since the end of the campaign of Division 1's campaign back in 2016. And this is the way I described it to Austin, because Austin is actually playing Division with us now. Welcome to the clan. Glad to have you in. Pablo, by the time this airs, may actually have it too, so glad to have you on board as well. And if anyone else wants to buy it, it's $3 on PSN, $5 at GameStop.
Steal.
Why wouldn't you buy it? It's
Steal.
amazing. It is basically a steal. The campaign alone, like pre-level 30, is easily worth like $20. So in 2016, when we completed the Division 1 campaign, I probably ranted about this before to you. If not, just act like you know what I'm talking about and just be super interested.
That's what I do every time Division comes.
Excellent. Aaron Keener was the guy who basically was the behind-the-scenes villain the whole time in the first game. And it ends with him completely winning. Division 1 ends with the villain having all the cards. So to put in terms that you would understand, Jake, and this is what I said to Austin, imagine Destiny 1's campaign, and I know you didn't play it, but just imagine Destiny 1's campaign ended with Aldrin killing Cade, and we didn't get resolution for 4 years. That's
I understand. You've spoken my language.
Yeah, we've been waiting to hunt him down, to get our shot. And now is finally our shot. And the way they're doing it, it's funny how I've drew comparisons. What?
Shot. You know, I'm just like my country. I'm happy and hungry. Sorry, I'm singing Hamilton.
Okay. So you know how, it's funny how I've compared this to Forsaken, like Warlords of New York to Forsaken, and I did that before I even knew that there were direct parallels. Keener is the target. Keener is Aldrin. Keener has 4 lieutenants that are also rogue agents that basically are his inner circle within Lower Manhattan. The lieutenants are the Barons.
Right.
We have to hunt them down before we can get to Keener.
Makes sense.
But the way we do that is we have to get intel on them and like ask the locals, do bounties and missions and whatnot to learn about the individual lieutenants before we hunt them down to get closer to Keener. So it's like what they did with the Barons, but if they took their time.
Right.
Because the Barons were just like, I killed this one, I killed this one, I killed this one. With these, we get to learn about them. We get to know who they are before we hunt them down and kill them, which is something that Division has always had as an advantage, and I'm glad to see that they're utilizing it. So all that's happening. They're releasing 4 new skills, 5 new main missions, which I assume each main mission is going to be a lieutenant, then Keener. 8 side missions, revamped Dark Zone, Gear 2.0. My throat is disappearing.
Steven's recovering from a cold, everybody, so give him some slack.
Yes, that's why there wasn't a stream on Saturday. Yeah, you can hear my voice just kind of going away. But there's just a lot of content coming. And
that's exciting.
I've been an advocate for Division. I am a fanboy of Division. I've loved it since the first game. I loved it since before the first game came out. I followed it very closely, took every piece of news that they gave. Then I voted Division 2 my most disappointing game of 2019. Because year 1 was lacking. Right. They didn't know what they wanted the game to be, and now it seems like they do, and they're making it happen. And I could not be more excited about some of the changes that they're bringing. But I won't talk in too much more detail. I'll just stop there because I did talk about Gear 2.0 and stuff. But the story is picking up. I don't want to give you and there's just a lot of stuff to do.
Sorry, I want to give your throat a break, but earlier you had mentioned you kind of wanted to talk about, if you're somebody who wants to be playing Division, and you saw that it's $3 right now or $5 at GameStop, whatever, and you wanted to start. Steven, you kind of mentioned you wanted to tell people like, okay, this is what you need to be doing right now to get into it. Yeah. So why don't you wrap with that?
A couple things. If you know that you want to get Division, but you're just like, I don't want to have to grind through base game before I can play the New York stuff, wait to get it until Warlords launches, because they're going to be doing a combo deal where you can get base game and Warlords for $40. Which it still makes more sense for you to get it now, because right now it's $3 on PSN and Xbox Live. So I would still suggest go do that, but maybe just put it in your back pocket, because Warlords is launching at $30, which is a reasonable price for the expansion of that size, I think. But let's say you're like, you are that person that I don't want to play till New York comes out. With Warlords of New York, you get an unlimited use level 30 booster.
Ooh.
So you can start a character at level 30 in New York, or you can, I think, boost a current DC character to level 30.
This may finally be my
shot. The content in DC this may finally be your shot, honestly. If you're going to enjoy the game, this is what you need. But, oh man, it really is just happening super suddenly. Like, I felt fine all morning, and then I started talking a lot, and it just... Ugh.
Tell the good folks what they need, and then I'll talk about dreams and give you a nice long break of talking.
That would be fantastic. So you can wait for that, or if you're just like, let's do this, I want in right now, send me in to DC, let's get stuff done. Get up to level 30, first and foremost. And then when you get to 30, if you are in game, this game, Warlords comes out March 3rd, by the way. It's super soon. So you've got a couple weeks. But if you are in game and you're like, okay, what do I do? What's the point? All of my gear is about to be useless. Get crafting material, first and foremost. So pretty much everything you find, dismantle it. Second, work on your specializations. Unlock as many specializations as you can. Max them out as much as you can. Third, get exotics. Do all the stuff that you can to get exotics. That way, when Warlords comes out, those exotics will be in the loot rotation for you to find again at the highest gear score. And then lastly, do side content to get like blueprints for weapon attachments and stuff like that. There was one other one that I thought that I was going to mention, but I guess not. Yeah, pretty much just work on your character and their currency. Because the more credits, crafting material, and everything you have, the better off you're going to be moving into this update. Also, a little trick that I've started doing, supply proficiency caches. So the caches that you get at max level, whenever you level up, you get another cache of gear. Stock up on those. Your maximum is 10, but you need to get up to like 9 or 10. Because the moment Warlords drops, you can open those caches, and they, in theory, will come out with new gear. Because you're opening them after the content has dropped.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm trying it. So I would just suggest that you guys do that. Other than that, play episode 3. If you, it comes out for everyone Wednesday. Pass holders already had it, so I've played through it. It's great. A lot of good Keener content. We see him for the first time, like not in the flesh, but over a video, and he's still as intimidating as ever. And I'm excited to put a bullet in his head.
Dang, I can't wait.
Yeah.
You're gonna stream that, right? That sounds horrible.
Oh yeah.
Out of context. That just sounds horrible. Honestly, just real quick, we're not going to put a bullet in his head. I have a feeling that they know that Division can't really. Keener is the villain, right?
And they don't have another villain yet. And so unless if they lay a lot of foundation work outside of Keener in Keener's expansion, we're not going to be killing him in this expansion.
Gotcha.
We will defeat him though. We will beat him, but I don't think he's going to die.
Gotcha.
Off to you.
Off to me. Well, Steven, take a little breather because I'm about to put you to sleep so we can talk about dreams. I don't know. I tried my best as a transition there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Dreams is here. It's out. It's great. Steven's choking about it. He's so excited. Dreams. It's amazing. All right. I don't know how I wasn't more excited about this game sooner. You know, when we talked about most anticipated games this year, it wasn't my number one, but it was the first one I talked about, right? I'm so excited. Now that I've played it, it's so good. And what I think my favorite thing about it is I look at it as video game TikTok. All right? Everybody everybody knows what TikTok is, right? It's what Vine is. And what I mean by that is it's, Vine, TikTok, they're just short, funny, entertaining videos that you can just scroll, watch one, ha ha ha, next, ha ha ha. And it's just a great, and you can spend hours doing that, just scrolling through. That is really the best pitch I have about Dreams. Okay, that's my favorite part. We've done our first Show Me Your Dreams stream this past Friday. I highly recommend it. What I'm talking about when I mean like the TikTok of gaming, I'm going to go through a couple examples, all right? But a great one is one of the very first ones that happened in the stream. We played a game that was by Media Molecule, who made Dreams. It's called Please Hug Me, or something like that. And literally what happens is you drop into the world, you're on just a teeny tiny little circle of an island, and there's a bunch of like tree people in front of you, and you're just a big square, and your arms are open like you need a hug. And as your character and the tree people are at a predetermined, a fixed distance. You cannot get closer to them. So as you approach them for a hug, you push them away. And basically you push all of them off of this island trying to get a hug. And as soon as you do that, the camera like frees itself from you and like does a top down view, and this sad music starts to play. And then slowly it like closes in on black and forms a circle around you. And then it just bloops out, and that's it. That is the game. And it was so funny. But that is the best stuff. So I'll talk about some other ones. These didn't happen on stream, and I'm so mad that they didn't. But these are some of my favorites from my personal time with it. I played this other game called the Quantum Donut, Steven. The Quantum Donut. And it starts out, you're on like a little side scroll, kind of like a 2.5D side scroller. Like you're not actually moving within the 3D space, but it looks 3D. You know what I'm talking about? And you're just side scrolling, you're jumping. There's some happy-go-lucky music playing, and you're just having a great time. And you're jumping, and then you jump over this onto this rock, and the rock breaks, and you fall. And like the music cuts, and you just bam right in on the bottom of a cave. Music's cut. It's quiet. You hear like, you know, maybe a little bit of water, but it's just complete tonal shift. So I'm walking around. I'm like, what is about to happen? And I approach this table that has a donut on it. And as I approach, my character, like a little pop-up window comes up, and it says, it's a donut. And it prompts you like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to leave it alone, or do you want to eat it? And so I ate it. And then somebody runs up and is like, did you just eat that donut? And I say, yes. And he goes, that was a quantum donut. Do you have any idea what you've done? I was like, no, I have no idea what I've done. And so the guy's like, you are now simultaneously incredibly fat and incredibly skinny at the same time. Come with me quickly. So you follow him, and he goes over this bridge, and then a button prompt says, press R1. So I press R1, and suddenly my like very skinny, like stick figure man turns into a ball because he's so fat now. And I fall into another hole, and like that's pretty much it. Like I went through like kind of a maze that like as a ball I'm just rolling. But that's the premise of that game. And the guy said like you land in like a little play area. And he's like, hey, feel free to test out the physics, but I'm still working on the rest of the game. You know, stay tuned for more. So I immediately followed that because that was pretty funny. But anyway, another great example. This was another favorite of mine from just yesterday, kind of going through a bunch of other stuff. And I really hate that this one didn't get streamed, because I feel like I would have had a better reaction than an even better reaction than what I did in real life. I forget the name of the level. Oh, no. It's called My Masterpiece. And so you drop in, and you're just on this little green platform. Like, you know, it's a fairly large platform, but just, you know, a platform. And you can see a door off in space, like separate from your platform. And this voice starts talking to you, which, by the way, dream creators, I really, really encourage you to try and take advantage of any kind of voice acting you can add to your piece, because by far my favorite pieces have been ones that I don't have to read. Okay. I'm a Dumbo. All right. I hate reading. Like there have been a couple where I've started it and it just pops up dialogue and I have to read, and I'm like, no, I'm out. I can't, I'm not in this. This is not my headspace right now. So add a voice, even if it's your own, just please. I'm just telling you. Anyway, because this guy's is greatly increased by his voice. So anyway, or I assume it's his voice. Anyway, this guy starts talking, and he's like, oh, hello there. Thank you welcome to my masterpiece. So this, I'm not going to lie to you. This is going to be the greatest video game experience you've ever had. It's very innovative, next level. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to be great. Here we go. Your goal is you can move with the control stick, and you can jump with X. Take a breath. You understand? Now, and then like a path, like a platformer appears in front of you, connecting you to the door. And he's like, now, the goal of the game is to get to that door by jumping to these platforms. He was like, now, if that innovation hasn't blown your mind yet, go ahead and give it your first try. So I hip hop across and make it to the door. And as I come through, I load right back where I started. And he goes, oh, wow, okay, you were way more prepared for that innovation than I was expecting. That was the whole game. Okay, all right, we're gonna mix this up a bit. Now, to move, you have to use the control stick, but to jump, you have to press square and X at the same time. And now, to run, you have to hold L2. See if you can do it now. So I did that, land across, and he's like, okay, you're way more prepared for this than I thought. Okay, now you have to hold L2 and press the side arrow key to run. And then you have to press R2, R1, square, triangle, O, and X to jump. And the platforms are invisible unless you hold the left arrow button. So basically just like overcomplicating the control scheme to like the millionth degree. So I did it with that. And then the next one, basically he had the same scheme, but the platforms are in increments of 5 and it's the last one. I didn't have time to sit there and beat it. But anyway, that's what I mean by TikTok. All right. Just very funny, short experiences are great. There are some other really good ones like Art's Dream, which is the kind of the story mission that Media Molecule makes for you. Is actually really good. I liked it a lot more the longer I played it. It's basically 3 games or game styles that they kind of mash together. 2 of them are actually very similar. There's this one that's kind of like an action. Arcade action game where you play as a little stuffed bear with a mallet and a fox that can like throw discs and stuff. And you're kind of running around and you're fighting different enemies and just kind of platforming a little bit. The other one, you play as this character called Debug, who you're like a robot. So it's more sci-fi, but it's still kind of similar thing. Like you're platforming and puzzling a little bit. But then the one that's really unique is when you're playing as Art, and it's a point and click adventure. And the more I played of that, the more I really came to like it. And I want to play more of just that part of the game of just like, I want to play this point and click adventure. So next time I like sit down to have a dream session, I'm going to be really looking for one of those. But even though that was done by Media Molecule, right? Obviously, I mean, like this is the game they made in their game engine, that they made. So, I mean, it was all made in Dreams, but Dreams is basically a game engine. But anyway, so it should be, the best of what is there right now. But it was really good, and I hope to see more games like that come out of it. But I think it's going to take time to get there. There's definitely a lot of stuff that's not like. The cool thing about it is people, are like recreating games in Dreams. So that's like exciting, but it's definitely not as fun. Someone had created a kind of, I think they called it Spider-Man swinging kind of. And they had created just a small little city. They had a really great character model for Spider-Man. And basically you press L2 to web to the right L2 to web to the left and R2 to web to the right. And it works for all intents and purposes. It worked, but it's just not as fun as playing Spider-Man on PlayStation 4. But anyway, I love it. It is so much fun. Even I think in the future, I really need to reserve it for streams because that is where I think the best of the entertainment is going to be. There's a great multiplayer game that I want to play with you, Steven, where we get to play as hammers.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's so fun. I can't wait to do a multiplayer stream. But anyway, I just can't wait to see where the rest of it goes. There's so many interesting experiences that are there. And if you're somebody who, if you've seen some streams, it's something that I don't know that I'm ever gonna do like Destiny or any story game where I just play for hours and hours and hours. But like right now, I don't have anything that I'm trying to play, so I've played more of Dreams than I probably would have if it had released at a different time. But it is definitely something that I could see going like, and I've said this before when we talked about just excitement for it. Like, I don't foresee me not streaming this for a long time. Like, it's something that I could see a year or 2 years from now still streaming and us finding really interesting things together. It's so good. If you're even remotely interested, I think it's worth the investment. And it's not even that much of an investment. It's not a full price game. I think it's just under 50, or not under 50, under 60.
And if it's $40.
Oh, really? See, golly, come on. It's $40?
Yep.
Wow. See, I think it's totally worth it. Because especially with that TikTok kind of mindset, if you go in like that, expecting to find just short little nuggets of delight, you'll end up finding more stuff that you enjoy a whole lot. So there's a couple things I followed that I'm excited to see what they continue to do. There was one that had like a wizard. It was an RPG, and I think the guy probably spent 2 years or however long the early access has been up. I really think he spent that much time just crafting the 3 main characters that he designed, because it's like a wizard. You got a knight, and then you got a thief. And he had some of the most impressive, like, just character animations that I had seen in any just like made by a person game. So anyway, I'm sorry, I could talk forever about Dreams. What were you going to say, Steven? I kept interrupting you.
And if any of our creative types on the channel want to make a Chortle Games game, you can do that.
Yes.
And we will play it
100%
every day.
Every time I'll end with that and just be like, look here. No, but seriously, if you're somebody who is, I know Kalen, one of our subs, and Ahmad, he was kind of helped me plan the first stream. He had the early access and has been he's been making a lot of music with Dreams. He put together kind of a where to start kind of list. I know he did a multiplayer list that I'm probably gonna go through as well. But if you have anything that you've made in Dreams and you want us to play, feel free to send it to me in our Discord. I really should make a Dreams channel. I might ask Brody to do that.
Yeah.
But put it in our Discord, send it to me somehow. And then next time you hear that we're doing a Dream stream, like, put that in, let us know. Just the one Friday, we bumped into a couple creators. One, we had actually already played his stuff, and he just showed up and was like, hey, you can play some of my levels. And I was like, we already have. Your stuff's great. So anyway, that was so much fun. So I really hope if you're somebody who's wanting to create and is creating, please tune into some of those streams.
And if you make a Chortle Games game, I will voice Steven. I will do voice work for you.
Look, send us the scripts. We will get you voice acting.
We will do it.
Absolutely.
We will.
Because, oh my God. And
Brody would do that too. Brody would love to do voice acting.
Brody would do every other character if you wanted.
He actually has expressed interest in the past for doing voice work. So that's a legitimate thing for him.
Mm-hmm. I would love to too, honestly. And that's like, seriously, I've played so many that don't have voice acting. And then I play one that has voice acting, and that just the voice acting alone makes it so much better. And you can get creative. Like, we played one, Steven, I don't know if you got to catch this. It's called House of Bevas, or it's like the Halves of Bavas or something like that. It is this museum that you roam around, and when we first walked into it, I was like, if this is a museum of vines, I'm going to lose my mind. Because when we first landed in this game, you hear the voice. Someone says, honey, you've got a big storm coming. And me and Lee Allison both were just like, is this about to be like a museum of vine type stuff? And as we walked through, there's like all these weird statues. But every time you approach a statue, it says a line from that vine, like the honey, you got a big storm coming. Like that, if you look that up on YouTube and then try to find the full video of that, there's all sorts of people just saying weird lines like that. Whoever this was, they just took samplings of those lines and put it in. It made it so much more interesting, okay? I'm just saying, be creative with that because it really does enhance the game. But anyway, the only other thing that I've been doing this week is I finally beat Horizon Zero Dawn. And if you've been watching this for a long time, you're going to say, Jake, I thought you did that. So when Horizon Zero Dawn first came out, if you'll remember, it was like a week before Breath of the Wild came out, right? Breath of the Wild changed my life. Ugh. So Horizon got the back burner for probably a year. And then I kind of hit a lull, much like we are in right now. And I started back up playing it. And I played up to the last mission, like where you beat the boss. And I was just like, man, I'm having so much fun playing this. I don't want to beat the boss yet. I'm going to just keep going. Well, of course, then other games came out and I had to walk away from it. So this week, for whatever reason, I was like, you know what? I'm going to play Horizon Zero Dawn. But I couldn't, of course, just jump in and immediately go fight the boss. So I did a couple side missions to remind myself how to play. And then I went and beat the boss, and it was great. The ending is not as emotionally impactful as it probably would have been if I had, sat down and played the game like a normal human, but still really enjoyed the game. It's a good ending. And I can't wait for Horizon Zero 2 to sometime be announced for the PS5.
Horizon Zero Noon.
Zero Dune.
And then the ending will be Horizon Zero Dusk.
Horizon Zero Dusk. I like that. Hopefully that's going to be announced for the PS5. But anyway. All right, Steven, has your throat recovered enough to talk about Fire Emblem 3 Hosses?
Yes, actually, my throat's feeling better. Resting helped. So I've been playing Cindered Shadows for Fire Emblem 3 Houses. It is standalone, which means you do not attach it to any of your save files.
Interesting.
Which means when you want to play it, you go to side stories on the main menu and you select it and you start it, and it's its own separate save system, which I assume that means that your progress, like if you're able to recruit characters, is registered on your game as a whole. Since the save files aren't attached to the other, it's weird. That's probably my biggest problem with it, is that I can't take my versions of the characters into Cindered Shadows.
Gotcha.
So your cast is Byleth, who starts as a swordsmaster, Dimitri, who starts as a paladin, Edelgard, who starts as a heaping pile of garbage and ends that way because she always will be a heaping pile of garbage that happens to look like a heavy knight. Claude as a wyvern knight, which I thought was strange, but I guess I haven't gotten that far in Golden Gear.
Okay. I won't say anything else.
Yeah. Lindhart as a priest, so a healer. Ash as a sniper, and Hilda as a warrior, and that is your cast for the entire thing outside of the new characters. The new classes are great. There's a war priest, which is meant to use like axes, fist weapons, and faith magic. There is a trickster, which is a thief that uses faith magic.
Okay.
I'm really excited about that one. Then there is a magic-wielding Pegasus rider and a magic-wielding horseback character of some kind. I don't know much about those classes yet.
I don't know why. I don't know why they had to make so many mounted units
horse
towards
characters.
the end.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway,
I agree. But that's basically it. That's basically my impression. My favorite thing about it has been that you get to use all three house leaders at the same time. I mean,
that's kind of cool.
Edelgard I send to her death immediately every single time, but I like to see the characters interacting.
Have you killed off Edelgard? I guess I'm
playing this on casual mode.
Oh, okay. But don't you get a game over if one of those heroes dies, right?
No.
Huh.
Yeah. If you play on Classic, I assume they would just be unavailable for the rest of the campaign. But I'm playing on casual because I knew that I was going to have a limited number of soldiers and it was going to be harder.
Right.
So yeah, you basically lose out on a lot of what made Three Houses a different Fire Emblem experience. In that, I mean, you don't get to like teach the students during Cindered Shadows. You don't get to you get to explore the abyss, but it's not much to see. It's really just a few missions and some story, but it does carry over. Like you can recruit the Ashen Wolves in your main game. You can take those classes into the main game, but it's just weird they chose to do it that way. Because I would have thought that it'd be like at any point in part 1, you could go to a certain spot in the monastery and it would be like, once you go here, you have to complete the full campaign to come back.
Right.
But they didn't do it that way.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And I'd like to see, because you're part past 1 in your gameplay, right? Like for your mains.
Not on my Golden Deer.
Did you finally beat the Blue Lions, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I beat it before you did.
That's right. So interesting. So there isn't a way even in your Golden Deer playthrough to activate that.
Correct. It's all from the main menu.
Weird.
Yeah, I thought it was weird.
Yeah, I don't like that. I do like, for me, having beaten my Golden Deer playthrough and not really wanting to restart a whole new playthrough just to experience this. There is part of me that's like, oh, okay, cool. I can just go do that and then be done again. But
yeah,
but when you talk about, I'm trying to do a new playthrough and I want to have these characters in it, it just seems, I don't know, that complicates it the
strange
way they've set that up.
Yeah.
But it's all fun.
Well,
what do you think about the new characters? Have you gotten much time with them?
I haven't gotten to know them very well, but they seem like they fit right in.
Okay.
And that's pretty much all I'll say about that. But before we move on past catch up, I told you
You were going to send me something.
that I was going to send you a picture, and we may not even use this in the final recording.
Okay.
So whether this is in here or not. So I had some news. We're closing on our house this week. Anna and I are moving into a house. So this week is going to be big, but this over this weekend, Anna and I, it was my birthday, and we decided that we wanted to do something special. So, Jake, if you will turn your attention to your phone, I am texting it to you now.
I really hope it comes
And
through.
we're just going to wait.
Because my phone has been acting weird. Oh, look at him. Oh, my goodness. It's a little puppy. Everybody, here it is.
It's a puppy.
Oh, look at the little rascal.
Here's screen.
Is it a boy or a girl?
It is a boy.
Oh, my goodness. What's his name?
He is a husky Labrador Retriever mix. He is 8 weeks old.
Sorry, it's a puppy. Anna and Steven got a puppy. I just woke Leanne up. She said, why scream? I said, puppy. Sorry. Husky Labrador.
So husky Labrador. We didn't know. We went to the shelter on Saturday, and we looked through the Pet Finder app, and we knew that we wanted to meet that one just because he looked super sweet, and we knew we wanted a puppy. So we went to meet him, and the lady put him on the floor in the meeting room. She was like, now, he's pretty shy, so he probably won't come to you right away. And of course, he immediately goes to Anna, starts loving on her, and then I'm sitting there, and I've never had a dog, so I don't know what to do. And he comes up to me, and with his little puppy legs, he like tries to climb up on my lap, and he eventually does, and he just lays there while I pet him, and then he falls asleep in my lap. And it was just like,
Why? It's so cute.
Anna, this one.
Oh,
So
my gosh.
we adopted him. We don't have him yet. He's still getting his last shots.
Nibbly
so
bits
we will
taken
get him.
out.
Probably, yeah. Nibbly bits. He is coming home on the 24th.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
thankfully, it actually worked out great because we get to move into the house and make it puppy ready.
And then he
before
can
we move
come
in.
home.
Yes. We are workshopping names.
Oh, we don't have a name.
I wanted to. We do have a name that we like, but we're open to other names. But Anna and I both really like Flynn.
I'm not going to come up with a better name than that. For you guys in particular, that is the perfect name.
Yes.
Cannot
That's
be
what I
any
thought
better.
too. But if anyone on the Discord would like to try,
Good freaking luck because that's perfect for Steven and Anna. Anna and I share a favorite Disney princess, which is, of course, Rapunzel. And of course, Rapunzel ends up with Flynn.
he just looks like a Flynn.
I totally get Flynn vibes. All right. You could if you wanted to be a little bit like sneakier with it, you could do one of two things. You could either call him Ryder, which is also a really good dog name, or you could call him Eugene.
Eugene would not work.
I knew Eugene would get knocked down, but Ryder, I kind of like Ryder as well. That's more of a dog name, I think.
Okay.
But you could also be like, it's Flynn Ryder. Get it? But anyway, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So, Kaylin, add that to the Chortle
Got
pets.
it. We have a new chortle pet
There you
in
go.
the fam. Hey everybody, thank you for watching this episode of Chortlecast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. Number one, if you're on YouTube, you're already at chortlegames.com. You can like this video, share it with your friends. If you're watching on Facebook, you're at Chortle Games on Facebook. You can follow that page, like this video, comment, share it with friends. It's easy to do on Facebook. You can just hit share, whatever you want to do. Anyway, if you're an audio listener, you're listening through Apple Podcasts, you can leave a review for this video, 4 or 5 stars only. Feel free to say whatever you want in the review, but just give us 5 or 4 stars. And then, that's a great thing you can do. You can follow us on Twitter at Chortle Games. You can follow us on Twitch at Chortle_games on Twitch. And then also, please feel free to join our Discord. That's one of the best ways to keep up with us throughout the week. You can find that in the link in the description. That link in the description of this video, podcast, Facebook video, whatever. Can't find it? Go to chortlegames.com. That's our YouTube channel. On the banner, there's a little icon that says Discord. Click that. That'll get you in. But anyway, thank you for watching. Steven, thank you for being here. It's been a great, wonderful show. This is not the only thing we do here on the channel. The podcast airs every Monday at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time in the afternoon. That's PM, not AM. That airs every Monday. But then we stream usually every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This month has been crazy. Steven's getting ready to move into a new house. Steven just bought a dog. I am, existing and trying to get by. I'm actually buying a piece of property to Airbnb. So there's a lot of stuff happening all over the place. But, anyway, so, I give you a kind of a rough schedule, but understand there's a lot going on. So if these don't happen exactly verbatim, I apologize. But Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we will try to stream. Tuesday is hopefully going to be Steven and Anna continuing their playthrough of Castle Crashers. Yes, forward compatible is still happening. Yeah. It's still going to get wrapped up.
Yes.
Just again,
we're working towards ending forward compatible, but this one was complicated because this past week had a lot of family stuff to help out with, and this week house stuff is happening constantly, and Andrew's in town, so I'm going to be spending time with him. I only get to see him once every year, if that.
And on top of all of that, you had to coordinate with another person playing the game, so it just kind of complicated
Yes.
the whole situation. So
So this forward compatible is still happening. The review is coming. It's just going to take more time.
exactly. So Stephen and Anna may be playing that Tuesday, or will most likely be playing that Tuesday. May also do another stream Wednesday to kind of wrap it up. Really just depends on how Tuesday goes. Thursday will be me. Friday will be me. And Saturday will be me. Now, I am just your humble servant, your humble host here.
He really wants you to ask him to play
And
Dreams for all three of those
here to
streams is what he's
serve
trying to say.
You, the people, okay? But what I'm here to tell you is I'm probably going to stream Dreams all 3 nights.
Yep.
So I may not, okay? I may not. Thursday, I may branch out and do like Hitman or something. But if you really just want 3 Dream streams, I am but your humble servant and would be happy to make that happen. So anyway, that's probably, I can guarantee you Friday, Saturday, that's what's happening. It's going to be Dreams all the way. I'm open to suggestions on Thursday, but there's enough we could do in Dreams that it could be 3 really awesome, unique streams back to back to back. But I also don't want to run that game into the ground with you guys, so we'll play it by ear. But anyway, expect a stream from me Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. Steven, thank you, sir, as always. We appreciate you and your wonderful commentary, and we hope you feel better, get better. Happy belated birthday as well.
Thank you.
And go play with that little puppy dog. I got to come meet him.
We don't have him yet, but
I want to meet him.
I'll think about him. You will meet him. That's just a reason for you to come see my house and to come meet
I'm
my
coming
puppy.
for the puppy. No, I don't care about your house. I'm sorry.
That's why we got the puppy.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time.
Bye.